Satellite imagery and battlefield reports are painting an increasingly alarming picture of a widening regional war as tensions between Iran, the United States, and Israel spiral into one of the most volatile confrontations in recent Middle Eastern history. Recent high-resolution satellite images analyzed by independent observers have shown visible structural damage at military-linked facilities in the Gulf, including installations associated with U.S. forces. However, officials caution that many claims, particularly those regarding specific bases like Al-Dhafra, remain unverified or disputed, underscoring the fog of war that continues to cloud the conflict. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has claimed responsibility for coordinated missile and drone strikes targeting U.S. military infrastructure in the Gulf, including bases in the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain. According to Iranian statements, these operations were aimed at fighter jet shelters, logistics hubs, and maintenance areas. Iranian officials have asserted that the strikes damaged critical infrastructure and reduced operational capacity, though independent confirmation of the extent of this damage remains limited, and U.S. officials have not publicly verified the full scope of these claims. What is clear is that Iran has significantly expanded its targeting scope beyond Israel, striking or attempting to strike infrastructure across multiple Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, and the UAE. This marks a major shift in the conflict's trajectory, transforming what began as a more contained confrontation into a broader regional crisis. The escalation intensified after Israeli and U.S. coordinated strikes targeting key Iranian energy infrastructure, including major gas facilities. In retaliation, Iran launched waves of missile and drone attacks on energy infrastructure across neighboring countries, targeting refineries, gas facilities, and industrial sites. These attacks have already caused major disruptions to global energy markets, sharp increases in oil and gas prices, and temporary shutdowns of key facilities in the Gulf. In a significant shift, Iran has signaled that its campaign is no longer limited to military targets. The Iraqi has issued warnings to companies and workers linked to U.S. interests across the region, urging them to evacuate industrial sites immediately. According to official statements, facilities with American involvement could become targets in upcoming strikes. The message was direct and carried a sense of urgency. Leave now or risk being caught in the crossfire of Iran's next wave of retaliatory strikes. The warning did not stop at industrial workers. Civilians living near such facilities were also urged to leave surrounding areas to avoid potential casualties. Iranian messaging suggested that strikes could expand to economic infrastructure tied to Washington, indicating a broader strategy aimed at undermining both military and economic networks connected to the United States. As the conflict intensifies, the humanitarian toll continues to rise sharply. Recent verified figures indicate that over 1,300 people have been killed in Iran, hundreds more in Lebanon, and additional casualties have been reported in Israel and across other affected regions. The U.S. military has also reported casualties, including at least 13 service members killed and approximately 200 wounded. Beyond these numbers, millions face indirect consequences, from displacement and infrastructure collapse to energy shortages and economic instability. The United States and Israel have continued to carry out large-scale strikes on Iranian military and strategic targets. U.S. President Donald Trump has defended the campaign, arguing that it has significantly degraded Iran's capabilities. Reflecting on the unexpected scope of Iran's retaliation, he said nobody, the greatest experts, nobody thought they were going to hit these countries. He further added, we have to do what we have to do. Somebody should have done it. These remarks highlight a key concern among analysts and policymakers. Iran's decision to strike across the broader Gulf appears to have caught many observers off guard, challenging assumptions about how the conflict would unfold. Despite not being primary combatants, Gulf nations have found themselves increasingly exposed. Missile strikes and drone attacks have either hit or threatened energy facilities in the UAE, oil and gas infrastructure in Saudi Arabia, LNG hubs in Qatar, and industrial zones across the region. Governments across the Gulf have condemned the attacks while simultaneously increasing defensive measures and reassessing their security postures. The war's impact is no longer confined to the battlefield. Energy markets have reacted sharply, with oil prices surging and natural gas supplies disrupted. Key shipping routes, including the Strait of Hormuz, face potential threats, raising concerns about global supply chains and economic stability. Analysts warn that prolonged disruption could trigger a wider economic ripple effect, affecting industries and consumers worldwide. Perhaps most concerning is the trajectory of the conflict. Iran has made clear that it intends to continue and potentially expand its retaliatory campaign, warning that additional strikes could target both military and economic assets. At the same time, the United States has signaled readiness to escalate further if attacks on its forces or allies continue. The result is a rapidly intensifying standoff with multiple active fronts, expanding target lists, increasing civilian exposure, and limited diplomatic engagement. Across the Middle East, governments and civilians alike are bracing for what may come next. Airspace restrictions, flight suspensions, and evacuations have already begun in parts of the region, while international calls for de-escalation have so far yielded little progress. Iran insists its actions are defensive and directed at U.S. and Israeli interests. However, its warnings to neighboring countries suggest that neutrality may no longer guarantee safety if foreign military assets operate within their borders. For companies with American ties, the message is clear: evacuate workers, leave the area, and prepare for further escalation. What is unfolding is no longer a contained confrontation. It is a region-wide conflict with global implications. Military bases, energy infrastructure, and economic systems are now all part of the battlefield. The involvement of multiple countries, combined with the scale of retaliation on both sides, raises the risk of further escalation into a broader war. With each passing day, the stakes continue to rise, and the margin for miscalculation grows ever smaller.